What if I told you that everything you think you know about yourself is a lie? Not just your name or your job, but every thought and emotion you hold on to, whether it's pain from your past, hopes for your future, or rituals that you believe will bring you closer to enlightenment. It's all an illusion. I realized this when I stumbled upon the concept of ego death. The more I explored, the more unsettlingly true it seemed. It's both terrifying and freeing. Ego death isn't just about going beyond the self, it's about realizing the self never truly existed. Before you dismiss your spiritual practices, let's clarify this. People often categorize themselves as either spiritual or materialistic. You might say, I'm spiritual now, lighting incense or aligning your chakras, convinced you've risen above something. Or maybe you've rejected that, firmly rooted in materialism. But here's the kicker. Both identities are false. You've built your meaning on illusions. They're two sides of the same fragile coin. Neither spirituality nor materialism holds any more substance than the other. Everything you think you are is built on a foundation of nothingness. Even your thoughts are part of the illusion. Then there are those spiritual practices you believe bring you closer to enlightenment. But here's the harsh truth. The more you chase enlightenment, the further you drift from it. Those hours spent meditating or placing crystals on your third eye, they're distractions. You're already what you're trying to become, but the pursuit blinds you to this reality. Now, let's talk about the ego, your greatest frenemy. You've been told that transcending the ego is essential, right? But the ego isn't just a problem, it's the only thing standing between you and true freedom. It constructs an imaginary self concerned with what others think, what you've accomplished, or what you possess. The good news? You can kill it instantly, right now. But you have to be ready to let go of everything, ready to die to who you think you are. Most of you aren't, and that's why ego death is so terrifying. So, what's real? Nothing you think is real actually is. Your thoughts, emotions, identity, and experiences are all part of an elaborate illusion. At the core lies something much simpler: awareness. Awareness doesn't think or care about your chakras, career, or failures. It simply exists. Here's a simple exercise. Feel your hand right now. Notice its shape. Now, try to feel the part of you that's sensing your hand. You can't find it, can you? That's because there's nothing there. No self behind the feeling. The awareness perceiving your hand is just awareness. The moment you realize there's nothing behind the sensation is when your ego dies. Humans are wired to search for meaning or success, but the act of seeking keeps you from finding it. What you're looking for isn't out there, it's already within you. The more you chase it, the further it slips away. Most of you are too terrified to stop searching because, if you do, what's left? The void. Here's the wildest part. Ego death can happen in just 1 second. One moment you're clinging to a false identity, and the next, poof, it's gone. The ego collapses, leaving behind pure, unfiltered awareness. There's no way to work toward it. Ego death isn't a journey, it's a realization. And here's the truth that terrifies most of you. What you fear losing the most is the very thing that's kept you imprisoned. There is no process, no ritual. If you're waiting for a step-by-step guide to enlightenment, you've already missed the point. The whole idea that you need to follow a guru or adopt a practice to reach ego death is just your ego feeding itself. The ego is your greatest source of suffering. You think you're a person with a history, but what if I told you all of this is fiction? What if your trauma is just another story your ego uses to validate its existence? Once the ego dies, there's nothing left to hurt. So why have you spent your life trying to fix yourself? You've been chasing a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Healing doesn't come from working on yourself. It comes from realizing there's no self to heal. The moment you realize who you really are, the entire structure collapses. Just like that, it crumbles into nothing. And here's the astonishing part. You don't need to knock it down. The ego falls on its own once you stop believing in it. All those traumas, all those stories you thought defined you, vanish without you even trying to heal them. Now, let's dive into something truly controversial. Traditional Western therapy doesn't actually heal you. It can't. Why? Because therapy operates within the framework of the ego. You're trying to mend the very thing that's keeping you trapped. Once you've killed the ego, you're no longer identified with the body or mind. You're aligned with something much bigger, the infinite. The second you recognize your true self, you stop seeing yourself as a separate being that has to strive or suffer. Problems still arise, but they resolve themselves. There's a sense of flow where everything just works. No more personal drama, no more anxiety about the future or attachment to the past. You simply exist and life flows through you effortlessly. Without the ego, you no longer feel personally responsible for everything. Why wouldn't you want that kind of freedom? You were always in paradise. Everything you have ever worried about has been a grand illusion. You've always been free, but you forgot. Now that you know this, what will you do with it? Will you continue to play the game of being a separate self, or will you wake up and realize nothing has ever truly happened? The moment you stop identifying with the ego is when you realize paradise was never lost. It was only hidden behind the illusion of you. Thank you for sticking with me through this exploration. I hope this journey has shaken your identity a bit and made you question the foundation of your existence. So, can you let go of everything you believe you are? Or does the idea of ego death still terrify you? Hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe if you're ready to keep questioning everything. Because remember, everything can change in just 1 second.